that's where I'm like that. My issue with capitalism comes in because like I love it. It's the best. It's the best thing we have.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
but it's still not great.
So I know so many people who disagree with capitalism, and I love to bring up this point because I think capitalism has its faults.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it has its faults.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, if you were getting surgery tomorrow, let's just say on your heart, would you just want a doctor or would you want the best doctor?
Yeah, you'd want the best, yeah.
So that's capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I've realized is like with people that don't agree, and I've talked to them personally, like they agree with pure capitalism. And so pure capitalism isn't run by monopoly, is a free trade system and it works. But when you get so delved into corporations running politics and pushing big pharma and oil, and that's when capitalism is still in play, but now all those seeking opportunities of capitalism are held up by these corporations, and that's where they grow that disdain. So pure capitalism, in its sense, I believe works, and it's an add value. You work and you get return. It's not like you're getting paid same wage for no matter how hard you work. But when all the corporations, and especially with the ingraining in the politicians, GOP, you can talk about all that stuff. That's when there's a break in what pure capitalism is compared to what is looked on now.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of because they have to break them up. They're always breaking up companies.
But it hasn't. But it got they only started breaking it up really in the late 1900s. But think about it. If you look, who are the politicians in the government fully most funded by? And that's how the stake in capitalism gets broke, because once you get corporations and money like laundering or corporations in general, right, ingraining into politicians, that's when you'll get the influence away from not being able to use it how you should.
Yeah.
But don't you think that, I mean, if there's going to be competition in capitalism, somebody is going to come out a winner at some point.
Yes.
And should that not be the natural state of things?
Yes, but if there's only one car maker in the world and they block off any other chance for anybody to make a car, then they can charge as much as they want for a car.
They put checks and balances on that.
Yeah, it's you need checks and balances in capitalism.
It's called a monopoly.
You need checks and balances.
You need checks and balances.
They stopped monopolies with the oil rigs because they knew that oil companies were taking over the entire game, and they were selling cheap terrible products for high prices, and they were like, we can't do this.
But now
that's where they made it so you can't do monopolies, so that there is chance for good quality.
Yes, but yet now that even though these broken up monopolies are broken up, now they're paying into politicians to win, and you can see how that grows back into what shouldn't happen. You get what I'm saying?
If I could change the world tomorrow like that, would I want a capitalist society? Fuck no. Fuck no.
No?
Man, no. Like, life is difficult. Like, do I want to fucking work as hard as I do to make the money I make? No. But if I could just blissfully live life, go surfing tomorrow, yeah. But we would have to take the entire United States and implode it from the center, because how you just described, everything for the years has been built on that idea. It's get on the train or get off.
Yeah. And I agree. And that's the sucky thing about it. If you want to redo it, you have to break from the inside and rehash. But then in a real sense, a lot of people get hurt. A lot of people get hurt if you try to do that. So it's almost like an unfixable system.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that the other night. Yeah.
And at the same rate, like, why I say I would want capitalism is...
Because you're a greedy pig?
Well, one, yes. But two, we are a society, right? If we didn't have society, we wouldn't need those systems. But given that we are a society, we're built into people, you need a system to habitate that. And the problem with things that aren't capitalism in a sense, I believe, is incentive. And so capitalism breeds incentive. And if nobody has incentive to work, nothing works in society. And so that's why I think society and capitalism need to tie in to increase incentive to make it keep running.
Until we get AI. It does everything for us.
Surgery.
And back to my subject of being self-sufficient.
I don't know. I think it's almost impossible to be self-sufficient.
Yeah. In this day and age, that's why I'm trying to hold on to the bits and pieces I can.
Well, no, I would say it's really easy. You just have to take away the things.
But you would have to change your goals. You would have to change what you want.
I don't want to because I don't want that.
I'm tracking, but I'm saying if you wanted to do that, I would need to probably right away making millions. I would need to right away this business.
That's something that I don't think you'll ever get away from the military tracking. You say it all the time.
Did I just say it?
Oh, we were talking about that earlier. Yeah, he said it's
what's something that
I didn't even realize.
You still do that you did when in the military. You do it all the time.
I said it to him, but I didn't realize I just said it.
But no, to your actual point. So no, you're 100% right. Like you would have to change your entire life, but if you really look at it, the only things that you need: shelter, food, and love.
Sleep. Yeah.
No, because humans need people.
Yeah.
If you're fully isolated, like there's studies that show you that you will go insane.
Yeah, you will have mental.
Yes.
Yes.
So those are like the only things you really need. And if you really wanted to live off the grid, you don't need a phone. Get 5 close people that want to do the same thing. Start a little community.
Yeah, for I call it a. I forgot what the coin term is, but it's like a needed evil. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. In a sense, like to get what I want, even though I can't agree with the way I have to go about it, it's what I have to do to get what I want.
Well, you do agree with it.
I do.
Oh, okay.
A little bit.
Okay. Now I'm confused.
But you just said I do agree with it.
Yeah, but you just said you do a little bit. So
well, I mean, yeah, I agree with I mean, I have to buy into the system I want to build.
Oh, okay. So you're kind of like me. It's like if you could change it, you would, but you can't. So you
I have to do what I gotta do.
You'd rather be a player of the game than not even in the game at all.
I'd rather abolish the game if I had the choice, but if I don't, I'm going to be the best player in it.
Yeah.
Do you think that's beneficial?
What do you mean?
Personally, yeah.
Elaborate. If you
I don't think it's beneficial for everybody, but I think it's beneficial for me.
But if everybody has that mindset, that is how capitalism works.
So this is the paradox of being selfish and selfish. You know what I'm saying?
Selfless.
Thank you. So yes, do I think it would be great if I could go around and save the world? Yes. But do I realistically? So this is something that one of my mentors says. He says, I don't think there's a lack of people who want to do good things, but I think there's a lack of people who can do good things, meaning they have the time and the money to do good things.
Yeah.
So a lot of people want to start all these great fundraisers to give back to people, animals, and things, but a lot of people can't do it because they can't escape the 9 to 5.
For lack of a better word, to be selfless, you have to be self-serving. And so in the same fact, I heard this recently, and it kind of dawned on me. If you want to be rich or you become rich and wealthy, you are, you can't argue it. By definition, you are self-serving. And in that fact, like you are hoarding, you're hoarding money.
Yeah.
But in that fact, how you use it is how you switch that concept.
So clearly, from how you're asking these questions, you're on the other side of the standpoint. So I'd love to hear your opinion.
You're talking about on
this topic of capitalism.
You didn't agree.
Selfishness. It's just how you're asking the questions are. There are controversial questions.
Yeah,
because
I just want to hear your side.
I think it's great. I like to see other people's opinion because it can give me a new idea. I'm not right about the only thing I know is I don't know anything.
Yeah, to assume you're right is you'll never grow in knowledge.
That's true.
I only know as much as I know from what I've seen and what I've done.
I mean, I think
you don't know what you don't know.
That's true.
True.
But that's blissful. Ignorance is bliss, no?
Yes,
so your opinion.
All right. So I think personally, I mean, obviously, it's just my whole thing is like the fact that like us, I just look at us as humans and we're like the fact that we're attached to everything. My whole thing is attachment, right? Because life is full of attachment. So like there's I think it's a Buddhist theory is like life is full of attachment. Attachment leads to suffering. Therefore, all of life will be suffering. And so it's I just get stuck on like the idea of people like capitalism, like economies, like this whole concept of like people pursuing so many different things. I'm like, why do we do that? Like, where did these ideas come from? Like, they came from at some point, and it's like, why? Like, my thing, like, I'm just always asking myself, like, why is this? Why is that? I think
that's great.
So it's like, I don't know. I just try to get everybody's perspective on like what they think is the best system, or like what they think would be ideal. And obviously you guys said like it's the best. I mean, I think it's the best what we have right now, best example that we can do.
Because what we're used to.
That's what we're used to.
Yeah.
And there's not really been any examples of things that have like worked. I think it's because of the whole.
That's not true. Go to other countries. I personally want to leave the U.S. When I can.
And go where?
So I don't know yet. So that's the thing, is that another topic that another idea that I firmly believe in, that as a younger man, you need to travel as much as possible to know where you want to raise your family. And I have lived in Germany, I've lived in New York, I've, spent a lot of time in Canada, I've spent time in a lot of European countries, and I spent a lot of different places, a lot of different time in a lot of different places. And one thing that I've realized is life is very different when you leave the U.S.
Yeah.
And generally, from what I would look at right now, like, I would personally move probably, from the knowledge that I have now, probably to Germany.
Really? So what type of... But they're a capitalist society, correct?
I don't know, because I didn't dig
Not
too
to
much
the
into
same
politics.
level.
Obviously not this. Yeah, we're number one at that.
Yeah.
Number
Very
one.
much so. But like, they also believe in things like free healthcare, which also does come with its down points of you get a doctor and not the best doctor, no matter how much money you have.
And you could also wait for 2 days to get seen. That's a thing in Canada with free healthcare. They're sitting in the ER with a bullet wound waiting to get seen.
Yes.
I wonder if do you know anything about their education? Like, so obviously they have free healthcare, but
so
like
their education system, it's similar to ours. The more money you have, the better schools you get into, the more you learn. So when I lived there, I know very minimal German, but I know a lot of English, clearly, somewhat. We're still learning, but a lot of the kids, when you spoke to someone in German, most of the time they came from better backgrounds because they could speak English, because that means they got better schooling.
Yeah.
So it wasn't always taught.
At a baseline, and speaking back to what I said at the start about imposing will on humans, right? Why I think I agree with capitalism over other, economical builds, societal builds, is it's the only one that accounts for the human condition, which is imposing will, which is incentive, right? So in a, let's say, socialist society, right, imposing your will incentive does not reward, and it will cause human instability, because that's one thing you have to account for. Humans, we are not robots. You can't, like, everybody has different drives, different goals, different wants. And so in capitalism, it rewards you for incentive, it rewards you for imposing will, while in other constructs, if you don't play the part that you got given, it doesn't work.
There's more positive reinforcement here.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of negative drawbacks if you're not as bloodlusted as others.